I have techniques 30, 31, and 32. Technique 30 is using detail of light to show the passage of time. That is just saying that the light in the illustrations can show the passage of time throughout the book. And so for technique 30, I'm using Dad and Me in the Morning by Patricia Lakin, illustrated by Robert G. Steele. And how I would describe this to a kindergarten classroom or in a kindergarten setting, I read the book to the students and show them the illustrations as well. The book starts out as a boy who wakes up early in the morning, and it explains that it's very dark, and then he goes and wakes up his dad early, and you can see in the background that it's still nighttime. So I would express to the children that it shows that, you know, it's early in the morning and it's dark, and as the book goes on, it starts to get a little bit lighter outside, and you soon find out that the boy and the dad are going to go watch the sunrise. So this is a good book to just establish what happens at times in the sky throughout periods of time in the morning when they may be sleeping, like watching the sunrise. And it keeps going on as seeing different things in nature, and the boy gets super anxious, and the sky kind of starts to turn a little bit gray, and you can see it's starting to lighten up just a little bit, and the boy keeps asking the dad when the sun's gonna rise. He's like, not yet, you need to wait about 3 more minutes. And so they just enjoy their time, and then the dad checks his watch and says 3 more minutes, and they focus on the doves for a little bit, and then as they begin to peer out in the sky, as you can see, it's starting to become like gray. It was dark, and then it goes gray and a little bit lighter. And then the boy notices that there is a little bit of orange seeping through up here, and I just kind of explain to the students and show them how the pictures are showing the change in time, and then show how the boy sees the sun rising and all the blues and the oranges and purple and pinks. And then they just talk about how they would like to go back. And it just shows daytime. So this book does a really well job of using detail of the light and to show what happens as the sun rises, and maybe even we could be talking about the sun or something in the class, just to connect the book to material in the class. And my second technique was 31, which is using details of weather to show the passage of time. So the landscape's changing from weather, just to show, you know, passage of time throughout a year or so, or just the seasons or anything. And so this book I use is It's Raining, It's Pouring by Kin Eagle, and illustrations by Rob Gilbert. In this book, it's raining, it's pouring. And you can see that some chaos is going on. So this book does a good job of doing technique 31 and just using weather and just changes of the day and the seasons. And so this is actually, I believe it's like a nursery rhyme kind of. It's raining, it's pouring, the old man is snoring. That I could teach the kindergarten students, and I would just ask them different questions of, you know, what happens at each time of the year for the weather, like when does it usually rain, in the winter, the summer, in the spring, in the fall. And as the book goes on, it first starts with the morning, and then it goes into the sun. It's a sunny day, and he's beginning to sneeze, and so that just is showing the change of seasons starting. And it's getting really windy, and you can see, I would point out to the students how in the fall, you know, the leaves are falling off of the trees. So the illustrations are doing a really good job of showing the changing in weather, and then we have the winter time. So this shows the winter going through the seasons. The illustrations do another good job. And just more, and you can see out the window more of the weather as well. And then it starts to be a little bit more sunny and the bees are out, so that just shows more of a summer setting or a spring. Again, more bees. And it's still a little chilly, so, and he's fetching water, so we know that the snow has melted. And so it could be spring outside and the flowers are starting to bloom as well. And they're enjoying a picnic, so I would just point out the different changes in the season and the different activities and the clothes that each of the characters in the story are wearing. As well as I could, and this just talks about whatever the season, cloudy, sunny, breezy. So it points out the different seasons that they had went through and how the old man is always sleeping. And then at the end there's It's Raining, It's Pouring, the song, so I could also teach that to my students as well. And my last technique is technique 32. And this technique is crafting tone with color. So the color choices impact the tone of the book. So I chose the book Tuesday by David Weissner. And this book just starts out as kind of a gloomy setting. And I would point out to my students just the color scheme is more of a cool color scheme, which is oftentimes shown as like a mood or a tone that is a little bit more gloomy and depressing, kind of. And just the different colors that are used to create this. And this book doesn't have many words, so it allows the students to be imaginative and imagine what is the animals are doing in the scenes and how they're feeling by the colors. And so we have more blues and greens and purples, and this is just showing that it's really quiet and subtle, as well as at night. It's just the frogs are coming out and enjoying their time, but all of these colors are just dark and gloomy. And it just, you can really tell by the tone that it's like a quiet, subtle, and that everyone in the houses are sleeping, except for this one man. And you can tell that the tone, he's alive and awake and bright. And then you just look out the window and the tone is so different as the frogs are flying on the lily pads throughout. And the tone changes a little bit because the frogs are enjoying their time, and you can see smiles on their faces as the humans are sleeping, and they can just roam wherever they would like. And this also shows the tone as the colors are dark, but then it's light right on the human, and she's just completely unaware of what is going on around her as she sleeps. And we have a dog. And the tone still is just that subtle, using those subtle colors, all the same color scheme all throughout the book. Setting the tone, and then we notice as the sun rises, the frogs must return to the water. So that as well shows the tone and the different types of day, how the tone and the colors are used. And it ends by all the light and all of the humans being completely puzzled. And it starts up again on the next Tuesday at 7:58 as we have pigs, which then again, although the animals are different colors, the tone stays the same in the background with the blues and the nighttime symbolizing that quiet stillness and the mystery.